Ciao e benvenuti al Tavolo Italiano. In this lesson, we're talking about conjugating the irregular ERE Italian verbs in the present tense. Bere, dovere, potere, volere, etc. First, it's assumed that you already understand subject pronouns and the basic principles of conjugation in Italian. If you don't already understand these, you may want to first watch a video explaining Italian subject pronouns. Second, this lesson only covers the conjugation of irregular Italian ERE verbs in the present tense. Unlike the regular ERE verbs, there is no set conjugation rule. There are some patterns that you will find, but there are definitely variations in how these verbs are conjugated, hence they are irregular. Their conjugations will need to be committed to memory. So, let's take a look at our lesson. The verb bere, Italian for to drink. First person singular, or io, is bevo. Tu bevi. Lui, lei beve. He or she drinks. Noi beviamo. We drink. Voi bevete. You drink. And loro bevono. They drink. Next, we have the verb dovere, Italian for to have to or must. Devo, I must. Devi, you have to. Deve, he or she must or has to. Dobbiamo, we must. Dovete, you must. Devono, they must or have to. Potere, Italian for to be able to or to can, excuse me. Posso, I can, I am able. Puoi, you can, you are able. Può, he or she can, he or she is able. Possiamo, we can, or we are able. Voi potete, you all can, or are able. And possono, they can, or they are able. One thing I want you to note here, not always, but oftentimes with irregular verbs, the third person plural often parallels the first person singular. You'll notice we start off with the posso, then it goes into puoi, può. But when you get down to loro, it's possono. It's very similar to the first person singular. The verb volere, to want. Io voglio, I want. Tu vuoi, you want. Vuole, excuse me, he or she wants. Vogliamo, we want. Volete, y'all want. And vogliono, they want. See the parallel between the first person singular and the third person plural. Also, the first person plural oftentimes is similar as well. The verb sapere, Italian for to know. Io so. Tu sai. Lui lei sa. Noi sappiamo, for we know. Voi sapete, you all know. And sanno, they know. Now, once again, being irregular verbs, they don't always follow the patterns that you've sometimes seen regular verb or irregular verbs. Definitely don't follow a pattern like the regular verbs do. So here, while io is so, loro is sanno. So this does not follow that pattern. Sedere, Italian for to sit. Io siedo, I sit. siedi, you sit. Siede, he or she sits. Sediamo, we sit. Sedete, you sit. And siedono, they sit. Once again, we see that first person singular and third person plural pattern there. Okay, now let's take a look at some other irregular ERE verbs in Italian. And let's look at them all at once and see what kind of patterns that emerge. The 6 we're going to look at are cogliere, scegliere, porre, rimanere, tenere, and spegnere, which means to gather, to choose, to put, to remain or to stay, to keep, and to turn off. Now, once again, obviously, being irregular verbs, because there are some differences in them, they do somewhat parallel the regular ERE conjugation in that all the EOs end with O, all the TOs end with E, all the lui, leis end with A, the nois are all iamo, the voice are all ette, and the loros are all ono. That's the first pattern we see. This can actually help when you know a verb is irregular, but perhaps you don't have it memorized. Hate to say it, don't encourage you to take guesses, but if you're not sure what to say, sometimes it can be apparent how that verb is conjugated. The other thing I want you to see or notice is, once again, that parallel that we talked about between the first person singular and the third person plural. Here we have colgo, colgono, scelgo, scelgono, pongo, pongono, rimango, rimangono, tengo, tengono, spengo, spengono. So it's pretty clear there. Also, you'll see an inversion of a couple of letters in the second person oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes. For instance, colgo becomes colgi, scelgo becomes scelgi, spengo becomes spegni. Once again, you can't count on these in irregulars, but these are patterns that oftentimes you'll find. So we'll run through them real quick. Cogliere is colgo, cogli, coglier, cogliamo, cogliette, colgono. Then scegliere, scelgo, scegli, sceglier, scegliamo, scegliette, scelgono. Porre, pongo, ponni, pone, poniamo, ponete, pongono. Rimanere, rimango, rimani, rimane, rimaniamo, rimanete, and rimangono. Tenere, tengo, tieni, tiene, teniamo, tenete, tengono. And finally, spegnere, spengo, spegni, spegne, spegniamo, spegnette, and spengono. Well, these are clearly irregular in that there are some evident patterns that can help memorizing these verb conjugations a little bit easier, as we discussed. Okay, a little bit of irregular verb review. Let's see how many of these you can figure out. I'll say the conjugated verb in English and see if you can remember what the irregular conjugation is. The first one being I put. Pongo. Remember, in Italian, it's not always necessary to use a subject pronoun because the conjugated verb carries the information who that subject is. So in the answers, I've left the subject pronouns out in the Italian. Next one, they can. Possono. We choose. Scegliamo. You sit. siedi. Y'all want. Volete. We drink. Beviamo. He gathers. Coglie. You must. Devi. I stay. Rimango. I know. So. They turn off. Spengono. We keep. Tengono. Or teniamo. Scusi. That one's an incorrect answer. That would be teniamo. So instead of Tengo, it would be Teniamo. Teniamo. You put. Poni. Y'all can. Potete. We know. Sappiamo. He drinks. Bebe. You choose. Cogliete. That's for you, plural choose. I must. Devo. So how many of these were you able to get right? I would encourage you to study these verbs. Many of them are very important, especially verbs that can be used as auxiliary verbs, like to be able to or can, to must or to have to want. These are very important verbs to learn. Study them through the vocabulary list in the lesson itself that's online. Come back, review this video, and go over them again. I would encourage you to do so until you can get them all right. And that's it for today's lesson. Grazie mille for coming to tavoloitaliano.com, where there's much more information on irregular ERE verbs and on a variety of other topics about Italian grammar, along with things like pen pal programs, games, puzzles, online exercises, etc. All at tavoloitaliano.com, and all the information online is always free. Grazie mille, ciao e parla italiano.